So in goods, there are few goods you need to know. Let me start with the public good. So what is a public good actually? Let me zoom a bit. A public good is a good that is non-rival and non-excludable. Now, what is this rival and excludable? Easy to understand, guys. Know the meaning. Non-rival. So rival means competition. Non-rival means no competition. So a public good has no competition. Non-excludable. Excludable means you can select it or you don't want to select it. You can select it or you can not select it. You don't want to forcefully get that. But non-excludable means you like it or not, you need to select it. So it is given by most of the time government gives this type of product. None of the people can give this type of product. There's a lot of things which we can speak about government goods. We take defense on Sri Lanka. Defense is government, given by government. When a policeman is seeing the traffic, you can't just go as you like. And if we catch you can't say even my father doesn't stop me. Catch me if you can. Can you say like that? The guy will slap you and put you into the jail. So actually, a public good is something given by the government. You can't exclude that. You like it or not, you need to consume it. When you walk on the street lights, you see the street lights can give a good brightness to the environment. So when you are walking on the road and you get this brightness from the street lights, you are saying, no, I don't want to walk on this road because the street lights are from government. I put my street lights, then I'll walk. It's not practical. So you can't say that I can't walk in this road. Road is made by the road is also put by the government. So you need to like it or not, you need to consume it. That's what we say public good. So here they say that non-rival means consumption of the good by one person does not reduce the availability of goods for others. Because you consumed it, it doesn't going to affect someone else can't consume. Because you're going on road, it doesn't mean that others also can't go on road. They also can go on road. Non-excludable means that no one can effectively be excluded from using the product. They like it or not, they need to get it. So you might see that examples. Give me a second. Let me zoom a bit more. So they are given examples. AR is something which you can say, but I will say I don't want you guys to remember this. So these are an old type of concerns. I'll write here a few things you need to remember. Defense, street lights. So put a small example, private, public good, and write the example. Street light. Also you can write towers, bridges, harbors. I say bridges, roads, or highways. Roads, highway also excludable. You can select it or not. So there are a few examples here. I will not move on to that. I will move on to the next part. Copy it down. Okay, so I hope you guys have done. So let's me move on to the next part of the content. So we have a few goods which I'm going to speak about under private good. Private good is something given by the private sectors. That's what we say private good. So first thing you need to know about private good is provided by. So I'll explain you the difference between public good and private good. Public good given by the government. So just write a small note by the government, and private good given by the private sectors. Okay, so private sectors. Please take a note out of it. So we move on to the next part. So in private good, there are two types of good. But before we learn about the good, you need to know what the main characteristic is. What we say excludable and its rival. So why we say this excludable and rival? Actually, when you are consuming this type of good, you can either select it or not select it. So it's your wish. So you have the wish to select the product or not selecting the product comes under excludability. Consumers can be excluded from the consumption of the goods if they do not pay the seller for the goods. So they like to select it or not. For example, you guys can pay to class and come to class and study, or you guys can not pay to class and come to, you guys can select it. You have the choice to select it. It's a part of private good. And when one person consumes it, other person is not receiving it. Because if you go and learn in an institute, there are certain crowds. After that crowd is filled, the class is full. They will not take you inside. That's why we say this private good given by the private sector, but it's excludable and it's rival. So for your knowledge, it's excludable and rival. The characteristics mainly speaks about excludable and rival. So now I will be giving certain points on this actually about this type of goods in a very detailed chart. So don't worry guys, you can write it down in that also. Now let me move on to the next part. A private good is divided into two. Okay, one we said as merit good, other one we said as demerit good. Merit good is actually going to bring benefits to the society, like education, health, hospitality, tourism, so good things to the environment. So these things will bring always benefit to the society. So that's why we say positive externalities. But then certain things like will bring bad things to the society, like it will you see people underestimate cost, but it has a negative externality. People think it's very less, but actually this is the costliest thing. People die in cancer every day than the people who die in COVID. So there are two type of goods you need to understand. One we said as merit good, other one we said as demerit good. If you consume that good and if it brings some sort of positive externality, as I explained you what is externality, the people who are getting third parties are getting some benefits out of it, then we say there's a merit good. But demerit good, because you're consuming alcohol, people on the next house also will be like, you go and break the house of their house, or you just Sri Lanka's are lions, right? So they roar when they drink lion beers. So they roar here and there, then of course it becomes a problem to everyone in society. So it becomes a demerit good. And this type of goods actually is not good for the market. A market fails because of this demerit goods are produced in over because they are getting a high profit. You know, in Sri Lanka, I'm not a smoker, guys, for your knowledge, I'm saying in Sri Lanka, a cigarette price is 65 rupees, but then the government tax for a cigarette, the cost of a cigarette is just 3 rupees. So how much is the government is charging for tax for cigarette? 62 rupees. If government actually wants to stop the product, they could have banned the products rather than charging taxes on cigarettes, because the government's highest revenue after the government revenue taxes, their main revenue is on cigarettes. But why? Because our people are consuming more as possible than the other type of goods. Now you all know that one brick of a house is 60 rupees. If you are a smoker, if you no, I'm not saying you guys are smoker. There are smokers who are actually on the environment. So those people, rather than using a cigarette, they can start building one brick every day. Means by the end of the day they can build the entire house. But they don't do that because they are not understanding how much they are actually wasting. Then we move on next part of the content. It says, okay, types of market failure. Okay, did you all understand how this goods works actually, guys? Do you have knowledge? Okay, I have one more goods I need to teach you. Common resources. Let me start explaining this type of goods first of all. Characteristics of goods: rival in consumption, non-rival in consumption. So private goods can bring positive externality. You all remember in private goods there are positive externality which will bring positive externality for. Write a small note here. I want you guys to draw this chart. Positive externality is given for what? Merit good. Write a small note here. And private good has negative externalities also. It gave demerit good. Okay. Then we have common resources. So this is clean water, biodiversity. Actually, these common resources like nature, you breathe the environment. It's very wonderful. So when you consume it, consuming it, actually it's non-excludable. You can consume it, but why it becomes rival? Because this clean water, biodiversity, these people, for example, if they how do you say? Yeah, if they charge a price for it for the water, if they make it a bottled water, it becomes a rival product. If you wanted to go and see a scenery, if they charge a price for the scenery, it becomes a rival thing. Okay, so yeah, I can say most of the time positive externality. So here it's non-rival in consumption. Uh, it is non-excludable. So there's no competition for this. Unexcludable. You can't. You like it or not, you are going to get it. So it's something we should need to consider. So public sanitation, national defense. I can say here it's a positive externality. It's a very costly thing, but it brings positive externality. Here, artificially scarce goods, pay-per-view movies. When you watch movies, some people are getting paid, like YouTubers. It's non-rival in consumption. The more you consume it, it's not like rivals. They get paid because one is not getting paid. One's income is not given to that. You are watching a video, so they get paid high on particular thing. Even I people. Just for your knowledge, guys. So this is where, because they're paying, it doesn't mean that others are not getting it. So non-rival, everyone can start a YouTube account. Everyone can start doing what they really like. Computer software which comes with the computer is also artificial scarce good, but it is installed the moment you like it or not. You need to get it. But you can either get Ubuntu software or you can either take Microsoft. But when you pay for the product, you get along with the product. That's what we say. It's non-rival in concern because already there, but you can exclude it. If you like it or not, you can select it or change it. That's what it says. Okay, so please copy this chart, guys.